Our sense of identity is deeply influenced by the array of experiences we undergo throughout our lives, along with the emotions these experiences evoke. Each significant event, interaction, or phase in our lives contributes to the mosaic of our self perception. The emotions tied to these experiences, whether joy, sadness, fear, or love, play a crucial role in shaping how we see ourselves and how we interact with the world. The intensity of our emotional responses to various experiences often determines the amount of attention and energy we invest in different aspects of our identity. For instance, a person who has experienced great success in their career might strongly identify with their professional achievements, fueling this aspect of their identity with positive emotions like pride and satisfaction. Conversely, someone who has endured significant hardships or trauma may find that their identity is heavily influenced by these experiences, perhaps leading to feelings of anxiety, sadness, or anger. This emotional investment can have a profound impact on our behavior and choices. When an aspect of our identity is reinforced with strong emotions, it tends to become a focal point in our lives. We might find ourselves constantly thinking about it, basing our decisions around it, and even shaping our future goals in its context. The energy we pour into these identity aspects can create a self reinforcing cycle where our attention to these emotions and experiences further solidifies their impact on our identity. Furthermore, the nature of our emotional attachment to different aspects of our identity can significantly affect our overall well being. Positive emotions associated with certain aspects of our identity can enhance our self esteem, confidence, and motivation. They can lead us to seek out experiences and relationships that reinforce these positive aspects, contributing to a virtuous cycle of self affirmation and growth. On the other hand, if our identity is heavily influenced by negative emotions stemming from past experiences, it can lead to a range of challenges. For example, individuals who identify strongly with past failures or traumatic events may struggle with low self esteem, anxiety, or depression. These negative emotions can become barriers to personal growth and happiness, trapping individuals in a cycle of negative self reinforcement. The focus of our attention is a critical aspect of our mental and emotional well being, as it effectively directs where our energy flows. This principle holds that what we consistently concentrate on, we energize and amplify in our lives. If our attention is perpetually fixated on negative aspects, such as conflicts with an adversary or reliving painful past events, it results in us channeling our energy towards these negative elements. In doing so, we unintentionally empower these aspects, allowing them to have a greater influence and presence in our lives. This inadvertent investment of energy into negative elements can have a significant impact on our emotional state and overall quality of life. Continually focusing on an adversary, for example, can keep us in a state of anger, resentment, or frustration. Similarly, dwelling on past traumas or hurtful events can trap us in feelings of sadness, guilt, or regret. Over time, this persistent focus not only drains our emotional energy, but also binds us to these negative experiences and relationships, creating a sort of energetic tether that holds us back from moving forward. Furthermore, this binding is not just a metaphorical concept. The energy we devote to these negative aspects can manifest in various ways, from influencing our mood and behaviors to affecting our decision making and relationships with others. For instance, someone who is constantly thinking about a past betrayal may develop trust issues, impacting their ability to form healthy relationships in the future. Moreover, the energy we give to negative elements can also hinder our ability to notice and appreciate the positive aspects of our lives. When our attention is consumed by negativity, it narrows our perspective, preventing us from seeing opportunities for growth and joy. This skewed focus can make us feel as though negativity pervades all aspects of our life, even when this may not be the case. It's also important to note that where we place our attention can become a habit. If we habitually focus on negative aspects, this focus can become ingrained in our thought patterns, making it more challenging to redirect our attention to more positive or constructive matters. Breaking this cycle requires a conscious effort to shift our focus, which can involve practices like mindfulness, gratitude, and actively seeking out positive experiences and relationships. Breaking free from the chains of negative emotional bonds is a process that demands intentional and sustained effort. These bonds, often formed through prolonged focus on negative experiences or relationships, can deeply impact our mental and emotional well being. To liberate ourselves, it is essential to consciously shift our focus and channel our energy away from these detrimental ties. This shift is not merely about distraction, but about a fundamental change in how we allocate our mental and emotional resources. The process begins with the recognition that our attention and emotional energy are finite resources. Every moment spent ruminating on negative past events or unhealthy relationships is a moment not spent on nurturing positivity and growth. The act of consciously redirecting our focus from negative to positive or neutral subjects is the first step in breaking these bonds. This could involve engaging in activities that bring joy, seeking out uplifting relationships, or immersing oneself in pursuits that foster personal growth and fulfillment. Additionally, this shift requires a reevaluation of the stories we tell ourselves. Often, negative emotional bonds are reinforced by narratives of victimhood, resentment, or blame. By challenging and rewriting these narratives, we can begin to view our experiences from a perspective of learning and empowerment. This reframing helps to dissolve the emotional charge attached to past events or relationships, weakening the bonds that tie us to them. Moreover, breaking free from negative emotional bonds often involves cultivating self awareness and mindfulness. Practices such as meditation, reflective journaling, or therapy can be instrumental in this process. They help us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, allowing us to identify when we are slipping back into old patterns of negative focus and giving us the opportunity to consciously choose a different direction. This journey also involves developing emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions and those of others. By becoming more attuned to our emotional responses and learning to regulate them, we can prevent ourselves from being overwhelmed by negative emotions and maintaining a more balanced perspective. Emotions, often described as energy and motion, play a pivotal role in how we interact with the world around us. They are not just mere feelings, but are powerful forces that can significantly dictate the direction of our energy. When we experience intense emotions, be it joy, anger, sadness, or love, these emotions act like a magnet, drawing our energy and attention towards the source of the emotion. This connection can be towards a person, a memory, a past experience, or even an anticipated future event. The binding effect of emotions on our energy can have profound implications. For example, when we hold on to anger or resentment towards someone, our energy becomes tied up in those feelings, often replaying the scenarios that led to these emotions or imagining confrontations. This not only keeps us mentally and emotionally tethered to that person or situation, but also hinders our ability to use our energy in more positive, productive ways. Similarly, when we are consumed by nostalgia or sadness linked to a past event, our energy is drawn into the past, preventing us from fully engaging with the present and potentially influencing our future. This backward looking focus can create a sense of stagnation where, despite the passage of time, our emotional state remains unchanged, anchored to that past moment. Managing these emotions, therefore, is crucial in redirecting our energy from being bound to these emotional anchors to more constructive and beneficial pursuits. This management does not imply suppressing or ignoring our emotions, as emotions are vital indicators of our inner state and can provide valuable insights into our needs and desires. Rather, it involves acknowledging, understanding, and then guiding our emotions in a way that serves us better. One effective way to manage emotions is through practices such as mindfulness and meditation. These practices help in observing our emotions without getting overwhelmed by them. They allow us to create a space between our feelings and our reactions, giving us the opportunity to choose how we respond to our emotions. Another aspect of managing emotions involves expressing them in healthy ways. Whether it's through talking to a trusted friend, writing in a journal, or engaging in creative activities like art or music, finding outlets for emotional expression can prevent these feelings from becoming internalized and tying up our energy. Moreover, reframing our perspective on the situations that trigger strong emotions can also be a powerful tool. For instance, viewing a challenging experience as an opportunity for growth rather than a setback can transform feelings of frustration or despair into motivation and determination. Developing emotional resilience is also key. This involves building the capacity to bounce back from emotional setbacks and learning to adapt to changing emotional landscapes. Resilient individuals are better able to manage their emotions and prevent them from negatively impacting their energy and focus. Just as atoms form bonds based on mutual attractions, creating compounds and substances, humans too form bonds through shared emotions and experiences. This human bonding, akin to a chemical reaction, gives rise to an invisible field of energy that connects individuals. This connection is particularly strong when the shared emotions are intense, such as guilt, suffering, joy, or love. These shared emotional experiences act like a glue, holding relationships together and creating a sense of unity and understanding. The concept of emotional bonding is particularly evident in relationships where individuals have gone through similar life events or challenges. For example, people who have experienced a common hardship, like surviving a natural disaster or going through a difficult phase in life, often find a deep connection with each other. This connection is rooted in the shared understanding and empathy that arises from having gone through similar emotional experiences. The energy created in such bonds is palpable, often leading to long lasting relationships that are resilient in the face of challenges. Similarly, in groups or communities where collective suffering or guilt is experienced, a strong bond is formed among members. This could be seen in support groups where individuals come together to share their struggles and find solace in the fact that others understand their pain and suffering. The shared emotions in these groups create a strong sense of community and belonging, providing a support system that is vital for healing and recovery. Moreover, these emotional bonds are not just limited to negative experiences. Positive shared experiences like collective achievements, celebrations, or moments of joy also create strong bonds among people. For instance, team members who achieve a significant goal together, or friends who share a moment of unexpected joy, are likely to feel a strong connection due to the shared emotional experience. However, it's important to note that while these bonds can be incredibly supportive and beneficial, they can also become limiting if they are solely based on negative emotions. For instance, relationships primarily founded on shared guilt or suffering may hinder personal growth if individuals become overly reliant on each other's support to the exclusion of developing their own coping mechanisms. To maintain a healthy balance in relationships formed through emotional bonds, it is important to foster individual growth and resilience. This involves encouraging each other to seek personal development and find happiness and fulfillment beyond the shared experiences. It's about using the bond as a foundation for growth rather than a crutch that prevents moving forward. The process of separating ourselves from negative emotional bonds involves generating an energy powerful enough to surpass the energy of the emotions maintaining these bonds. This task is akin to breaking a strong chemical bond. It requires a significant input of energy, but in this case, the energy is emotional and psychological rather than physical. Negative emotional bonds, often formed through shared experiences of pain, suffering, or trauma, are held together by strong emotional responses like anger, resentment, or fear. To break these bonds, one must cultivate an energy that is more potent and constructive than these negative emotions. One effective way to generate this greater energy is by reaching a higher state of consciousness. This state transcends our ordinary, everyday level of thinking and feeling, which is often mired in the immediacy of our reactions and emotions. A higher state of consciousness can be achieved through practices like deep meditation, mindfulness, or other spiritual or reflective practices. In these states, individuals often gain new perspectives and insights, allowing them to rise above the limiting emotions that contribute to negative bonding. Another method to overcome these bonds is through the cultivation of powerful, positive emotions such as love, joy, gratitude, or compassion. These emotions have a high vibrational energy that can effectively counteract the lower vibrational energy of negative emotions. For example, cultivating a deep sense of gratitude can diminish feelings of resentment, while the practice of genuine compassion can mitigate feelings of anger or hatred. In addition, engaging in activities that elevate one's mood and emotional state can also contribute to this process. This could include pursuing passions and hobbies, spending time in nature, or engaging in acts of kindness and service. Such activities generate positive emotions and energy, which can help weaken the hold of negative emotional bonds. Furthermore, the support of positive relationships and communities can also provide the necessary energy to break free from negative bonds. Surrounding ourselves with people who uplift and encourage us can boost our emotional resilience and provide the strength needed to let go of harmful emotional ties. It's important to note that this process is not instantaneous and requires consistent effort and dedication. Just as negative bonds are often formed over a prolonged period, breaking them and establishing new positive emotional patterns is a gradual process. It involves regular practice and reinforcement of positive emotional states and higher levels of consciousness. Gaining freedom from negative emotional bonds is a process deeply rooted in cultivating heightened consciousness and awareness. This journey involves more than just recognizing the existence of these bonds. It requires a deep and often challenging exploration of our unconscious emotional patterns. It requires a deep and often challenging exploration. Many of these patterns are ingrained in us through past experiences and may operate below the level of our conscious awareness, subtly influencing our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. To break free from these patterns, we must first become acutely aware of them. This awareness often starts with a process of self reflection and introspection where we actively examine our emotional responses, triggers, and the habitual ways we act to certain situations. It involves asking ourselves why we feel a certain way, what past experiences might be contributing to these feelings, and how these emotions are impacting our current life. However, awareness alone is not sufficient. Once we identify these patterns, the next step is to actively work to change them. This is a task that demands significant energy and effort, as changing ingrained emotional responses can be as challenging as altering any long established habit. It often requires us to step out of our comfort zones and confront uncomfortable or painful memories and emotions. One effective approach to changing these patterns is through practices like mindfulness meditation, which can help in developing an observer's perspective on our thoughts and emotion. This perspective allows us to detach from our emotional responses and view them more objectively, providing the space and clarity needed for change. Therapeutic interventions such as cognitive behavioral therapy can also play a critical role in altering these unconscious patterns. Therapy can provide the tools and guidance necessary to understand and reframe our emotional responses, helping us to break free from the grip of past experiences. Additionally, journaling can be a powerful tool in this process. Writing about our thoughts and emotions can bring clarity to complex feelings and help uncover the roots of our emotional patterns. Journaling provides a safe, private space to explore our inner world and can be a catalyst for insights and breakthroughs. Another aspect of this journey involves cultivating emotional resilience. This resilience enables us to face and process difficult emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. Building resilience can involve a combination of self care practices, building supportive relationships, and developing coping strategies that allow us to navigate emotional challenges more effectively. Changing these deep seated emotional patterns also requires patience and self compassion. The process is often nonlinear, involving setbacks and challenges. Approaching this journey with kindness and understanding towards ourselves is crucial, as it fosters a nurturing environment for growth and change.